Welcome back to my favorite crafty things 2014. This is Jennifer McGuire, and in today's video I'm going to talk about my favorite stencils and stencil tools, or must-have stencil products. Now, I did want to note once again that I have links to all the products below and over on my blog, where I'll also have some fun discount codes and some big giveaways. Okay, so this year stencils have exploded in the card making world. There are so many available, and what I like about them is they're super inexpensive, and there are many ways that you can use them on a card. I wanted to go ahead and start out by sharing with you a few of my favorite stencils of the year. This first one is from Simon Says Stamp. It is the medium dots. Now on all of these, I'm just going to quickly apply some texture paste over it just so you can get an idea of how the stencil looks once it's used. And I just think this dots pattern is a good basic that works with any kind of card. For something a little more masculine or graphic looking, I love this one from Hero Arts. I just think it gives great detail, and I actually have a video using this one where I used watercolor over it for a feminine look, so I will link to that here. And by the way, I'm using texture paste here. I'll talk a little bit more about that product and other tools at the end of this video. Okay, this next stencil is one where I was talking to Heidi, the owner of Simon Says Stamp, and I said, I really wish there was a stencil that made tiny little dots, and she made it happen. I think this is such a cool stencil. It puts down these tiny little dots of paste or ink. It's such a subtle pattern that it's great for just a background, just to add a little bit of interest. You could mask areas off if you wanted to. I just think it's gorgeous, and I love how the paste really gets in there very well. This stencil from Hero Arts really won my heart this year because it's such an elegant pattern. I've used it many times on cards, and I've even stamped with the stencil, inked up the stencil and stamped with it. Look at that beautiful pattern that you get. This is lovely heat embossed, and I've done that in a video before too. Another that I've used often is from Tim Holtz. It's the festive pattern. He has a wonderful collection of stencils, and this one would be fantastic to maybe mask off an area of the stencil, which I'll show you a little bit later in the video how to do that, and just maybe get a little area of holly here to put on a card. Okay, next is another Tim Holtz stencil called Doily. This one is just great for creating a soft feminine background. Now, I have used this in a video before where I actually put the paste down and put embossing powder on, a soft gold glitter embossing powder, and used it on a baby card. This is just one of those that, since it doesn't have a repeating pattern, it's not too distracting if you put something on top of it. Yesterday I mentioned that one of my favorite go-to companies for intricate dies is Memory Box. Well, they have very intricate stencils too, and a huge selection of them. This one happens to be one of my favorites because it's borderless and has these detailed flowers. Now, I just put some quick texture paste over it so you could see the detail, but this is really fun for an entire inked background. They have a lot of different stencils. Some have borders, some don't. So I encourage you to check out the other ones they have to offer. This is another from Memory Box. This is called Starry Night. Now, there are a lot of starry sky kind of stencils out there. I like this one because there's stars of all sizes in a random pattern, and you can mask off areas if you just want a small collection of stars. Two of the most popular stencils this year are from Simon Says Stamp. This first one is the Falling Hearts. It just has little hearts that kind of fall from the top of the card. This is just a simple, great background for any card, and I've used it many times in videos before. In fact, on one card, I just did a mix of different colors of embossing powders falling down and kept it very simple, and I'll link to that one. The other stencil is the Falling Stars stencil. The same idea, but this time it is stars, so it's perfect for baby cards or for masculine cards or for birthday cards. Now, this one I had on my favorite list things last year, but it's such a great stencil I thought I'd mention again. This one is from Heidi Swapp. I like that it has three areas. You can put down a collection of dots, a collection of hearts, or a collection of stars. And check out that background. It's just a fun way to add a little bit of interest without doing a complete entire card. Let's go ahead and spend a little time talking about essentials for when you're working with stencils, just some tools that I find are very helpful. The first is micropore tape. I've mentioned this in other videos. You could use masking tape or painter's tape or washi tape, but one of my readers told me about micropore tape, and it is fantastic because it's very thin and it's easy to remove and move around. I thought I'd show you how it works here while I use this great stencil from Simon Says Stamp, which happens to be one of my favorites also. Now, as I'm using this, I also wanted to show you the mini ink blending tool from Tim Holtz. I highly recommend this tool for using with stencils. It's a great way to add ink over stencils. I like using Distress ink with my stencils also. And you can see how quick and easy with the ink blending tool it is to add ink in a variety of colors. You definitely can use the mini ink blending tool with any inks that you want to. I just find that Distress inks blend very well, and you don't have to put in a lot of effort. So here you can see I'm moving the micropore tape around very easily. It tears easily, you can reuse it easily, so it's a great tool when you're doing a lot of stenciling. Now, by the way, check out how easy it is to create these flowers with this stencil. I hope that companies come out with more stencils like this where you can kind of create a scene. This stencil you can use to create a bunch of different types of flowers, and look at the blending that you get with the ink. It would really be hard to achieve this with stamping, so I love that there's just another way we can use our inks for our cards. Now, another tool that I recommend for stenciling is this easy-tack repositionable spray adhesive from Krylon. What I like to do is if I have an intricate stencil that wants to move when I try to apply things over it, I take it outside and give it a quick spray with this adhesive, and basically gives enough stick that is similar to like a post-it note. And I just leave that stick on there because I'm going to just reuse the stencil over and over again. It's not super strong. You can wash it off if you want to, but I don't really see a reason to, because I'm going to want it to stay in place again the next time I use it. This is a great stencil from Memory Box called Radio Waves, and I just think it's a great way to kind of make a focal point for a stamped image or an embellishment on a card. And this is one of those that's so intricate that I think that repositionable spray is very helpful. Throughout this video, you have seen me use these tools from Viva. These are called palette knives. These are fantastic tools, easy to get the paste out of the jar and apply it evenly over a stencil. And recently, Ranger has come out with a plastic version of a palette knife, and this works just as well and has a lower price point, so it's another one to consider. Regardless of which tool you get, I just think it really is helpful. I used to use a piece of scrap cardstock to spread pastes on, but really having a tool really saves a lot of time when you're doing a lot of stenciling. Okay, so let's next talk about the different pastes that are available for using with stencils. Now, I will tell you there are a ton of pastes. There's texture paste, embossing paste, ferro, there's modeling paste, there is glitter paste. There are so many out there, but I will be honest with you, I have bought most of them, and I seem to always come back to the same three. So I'm going to share those three with you today, but I encourage you to try the others if you are curious about them. I have done videos on some of the others in the past, but I always go back to these same three. Two of these three products are embossing paste and texture paste. Now, I recently did a very detailed video comparing these two products, and I'll link to that here instead of going through it all again. So if you do want to check that out, you can. Here I'm just going to do a quick comparison of the two. Now, the bottom line, embossing paste and texture paste are very similar. So that you can see they look almost the same in the jars. They are very similar products. There are a few tiny little differences, but I really like them both. I actually reach for them both all the time. Let's first look at embossing paste. This is a product that I've been using for like a year now, and I've done many videos using it because it's been out for some time. It goes on very smooth. It's very light, kind of light and airy product, and you can see it goes onto the stencil with no problem. Now, the other product is from Ranger, which is one of my favorite companies, and it's called Texture Paste. This is a newer product, came out earlier this year, I believe. It's also white. It goes on like butter. It's maybe a hair thicker, but they both are a nice opaque white and really work well with all the techniques that I like to use. Now, when you take off the stencil and you see them up against each other here, by the way, the embossing paste is on the right there and the texture paste is on the left. There really isn't much difference. If you look really close, there is a tiny little bit of texture to the embossing paste and a more smoothness to the texture paste. But really, I like them both. So they definitely are both worth trying. And you can check out that other video for some of the differences. The third product that I like to use with my stencils is ferro. This is kind of a gritty kind of paste. It's much thicker because these are metallic. I really like the silver, but there are colors, and there's like a graphite color and an iron color, but silver is my favorite. And you can see this has much more grit to it because of the metallic nature of it. It's not a shiny metallic. It's more of a textured metallic, and I just think it's beautiful, especially on white cardstock. And I have used this many times also. The trick with ferro is you want to close it up and clean it off very quickly. Clean off your stencils because this stuff dries very quickly. But I do prefer the metallic look of the ferro over the metallic look of some of the other pastes. But that is, again, just a personal preference. While I'm here cleaning up, I want to mention another product I think that is very helpful when working with stencils is the craft sheet. That's that tan surface I'm working on there. It's from Ranger. I'll talk about it a little bit later, but it's a great surface to work on, especially when you're using these pastes and texture pastes because it's easy to clean up. If you've watched my videos before, you know that one of my favorite things to do is to add color to my paste. All I do is press some ink onto my craft sheet and mix some of the paste in with it. Texture paste and embossing paste both work here. You could use reinkers also, and pretty much any type of ink would work with this. Now, one of the things I do is I usually mix up just a little bit and use it, and so none of it goes to waste. But if you want to mix up a lot of the same color, which I've done before, I'll store it in these little coin containers. Now, I haven't had any problems with it drying out in there. I keep it in a dark drawer, and I've had some of this in here before that I've made for several months, and it hasn't dried out. I like being able to store some of the colors that I make. Well, recently, Wendy Vecchi has come out with mix and store jars. So you can mix up some of the colors that you like and store them in these safe jars. And this is supposed to last for a year or so. So I think it's good to have some sort of container to store your pastes in if you mix some colors up. So I recommend checking that out. I just placed an order for these and I'm really excited to try them out because I love to color my pastes. Okay, let's talk briefly about stencil pockets. I keep my stencils in thin pockets that I get from Simon Says Stamp. I go ahead and I cut the top of these little sleeves off because I don't have any reason to seal them shut. So the top of this pocket is open, but since stencils usually aren't in a bunch of pieces, it's okay because nothing's going to really fall out. I just like to have a tidy place to keep them all organized, and I can also label these. I just cut a piece of white cardstock to fit in there to give it a little bit of support. Now there are stencils that are bigger than these pockets, but most 6x6 do fit in here. I don't have many 12x12 stencils, so I don't really have a storage system for those yet. I do keep my Tim Holtz stencils on a ring separate from these also. But I will talk about my stencil storage system a little bit later, and I do have a video I've already done, which I'll link to too. Okay, remember that I have links to all the products I talk about in my YouTube description below. Also on my blog, I'll have much more information, including some shopping discounts and some big giveaways. I hope you found this video about stencils helpful, and I will be back very soon where I'll be talking about my favorite inks in heat embossing. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon.